I had another review planned for this week, but the hard drive I used to record footage decided to hit the crapper, so unfortunately I lost everything on that one. And of course that game happened to be an RPG. Go fig. So with that, I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to get a review kicked out in a week, but lo and behold, here we are. I was actually planning on playing Tom and Jerry on NES a few weeks from now, but I bumped it up because I fondly remembered the game as a kid and thought I could easily complete it in a day. I did do so, but not entirely easily. I don't remember this game giving me as much of a challenge as it did today. Oh well. So yeah, I'm looking at Tom and Jerry on NES today. If you're too young to remember what Tom and Jerry is, let me educate you a bit. Tom and Jerry was a cat and mouse combo that started in a cartoon that began in the 40s. It got new reboots every few years, and I honestly don't remember when the ones I used to watch were made. I just remember tuning in the Cartoon Network back in the day when it didn't play crap the majority of the day, and watching that, Looney Tunes and Johnny Quest. I don't mean that piece of shit new Looney Tunes either, because that one's just plain awful. Anyway, each cartoon typically had the cat, Tom, trying to catch Jerry the mouse, with Jerry typically evading him in humorous fashion. So for the game, things were done a bit differently. Tom kidnapped Jerry's nephew Tuffy, which, strangely according to Wikipedia, his original name was Nibbles, and it does not mention Tuffy anywhere on the article, either in the main Tom and Jerry article or even the list of characters. First time I saw him mentioned as Tuffy outside the game was on a different wiki page. Oh well, I'm straying away from the main topic. So instead of having to constantly chase Jerry, Tom gets some bait in the form of Tuffy, and now it's up to Jerry to go through 10 levels to make his way up to the attic to enter a showdown with Tom. At the gooey center of the cartridge pie, Tom and Jerry is a platformer. It doesn't go out of its way to be something that it's not. You control Jerry as he runs through each stage, avoiding everyday hazards such as leaves, squirrels, bugs, and acorns. He's not completely defenseless though. Jerry has an unending supply of marbles, which he throws a short distance away from himself. There are other weapons that you can find in addition to the marbles, which do have limited use other than the water cup, which is also infinite. These weapons are only usable in the stages that they are found in, as long as they're in the same level. Let me clarify this. You can find the hammer in level 1-1. In level 1-2 you can still use it, but once you complete 1-3, which is the first boss of the game, you lose that weapon. Most of these weapons are found in the second stage of the level, but I think the hammer and meat cleaver are the only exceptions. The other weapons are a stick found in a tree, a drill that has infinite use in the walls, but requires you to switch back to it after every use, which gets very annoying very quickly in this level, and a mothball with a full 99 uses in the final stage of the game. Most of the weapons have a slightly smaller range than the marble, but kill enemies in one hit. The best weapon, the mothball, is just a massive marble, but you'll need it because this level is swarming with enemies. Is it worth using these weapons? I'd say yes, because it is nice to kill enemies in one hit, and also there is the fact that you don't have to compensate for throwing the marbles over the lower enemies. So back to the gameplay, since I just spent a lot of time on the weapons. Each level may feel like a small maze, but once you learn the layouts, you'll be able to navigate the stages without a problem. Well, you will until you hit level 4-2, which takes place inside the walls. There's plenty of electrical charges that you need to avoid along with the sparse bug. You'll need to use the drill to open up specified walls, and hopefully don't run in circles. After here, 5-1 is the bathroom, which isn't as bad but can still be confusing to navigate. And then finally 5-2, the attic, where you have to find a key before the actual exit of the level. So without that key, you may have found the exit but not realize it because the game doesn't actually tell you you need to find a key. I just remembered it from my childhood. So you might spend a lot of time in this stage, and with the amount of constantly respawning enemies, you will want to finish it as quickly as possible. While on the theme of level layouts, everything actually feels natural. For one, the stages themselves feel scaled properly. From running around on the giant toilet to navigating the kitchen stovetop, just feels right. In addition, level transitions aren't forced. You'll go from the basement, jump into a pipe that leads into the kitchen, then enter a tree after you jump out the window. After climbing to the top of the tree, Jerry leaps down to the roof, and by now you probably get the idea. I love this fact about the game. In addition, the graphics of the game really show what the NES could do. Sure, it was made back in 1991, but still, it's what you would expect in a later part of the NES's life. You don't have just bare backgrounds. Everything is textured, from the bricks to the wallpaper, or even tiles in the bathroom. The enemies all look great, and of course, so do Tom and Jerry. They look just like they did on the cartoon series. In addition, Jerry's animations are simply fantastic. It's so smooth and not something many game developers would be able to pull off. There's other small details that add to the fun of the game. When traveling through spiderwebs, Jerry slows down to a crawl. When hitting his foot on attack, he bounces backward fluidly. When walking towards a pipe or another hard wall, he'll stub his toe. When jumping, you can smack your head off of hard objects. It's unusual to see this sort of detail in a game. While you're running around admiring the graphics and smashing bugs, there's other things that you'll be on the lookout for. You can find small cheese that will give you an extra 250 points per piece at the end of each stage. Large pieces of cheese award points and a health increase by 1 point. You'll want these points because for every 50,000 you get an extra life. You can also find the rare piece of bubblegum, which allows Jerry to reach higher areas. It's only really required once, so you have to make sure you don't mess up because it only gives you 2 pieces. And before I forget, back to your health meter. Yes, you do get 3 hearts to work with, and only one area will immediately kill you, which happens to be the sink in the first boss level. You do need to be careful, because the end of a stage doesn't mean you get your health refilled. Instead, health carries over, so you must be careful at all times. Yes, you do get 2 continues that start you off at the level you stopped at, but these can go quick in the more difficult of areas. And yet there's some things that pose themselves as enemies, but are actually not. Water from the pipe levels just bounces you around, as do the small leaves in the roof level. Flies also won't harm you. You will still want to defeat them though, because they can manage to push you to a hazard, even if they're not deadly in themselves. I guess before I wrap up this review I should talk about the bosses. Each one is against Tom, and each one has a specific pattern. Sometimes he attacks you directly, but other times he lets the environment hurt you. In the first battle, he's throwing his own marbles at you and spitting. Yes, spitting. The biggest hazard is the water, since that'll kill you immediately. In the second battle, which I tend to think is the easiest, Tom is napping and you have to knock bees out of a hive. Then hit them a second time to send them to sting Tom. In the third level, Tom is looking at you through a fireplace and you'll have to avoid the fire plumes and attack Tom when you can. The fourth level has him throwing fireworks at you, and then showing his face afterwards. If you can get the pattern down, you can knock him down quickly in this one. In the final showdown in level 5, he launches another firework at you and then pokes his head out, which is when he's vulnerable. Again, if you can follow his patterns, those 50 hits will come naturally. After this, you save Tuffy and the game ends. Again, I'm really surprised on how well Tom and Jerry look in these battles. I think that's it for this review, folks. Tom and Jerry really is an undersung gem in my opinion. The music is okay, but the graphics are fantastic, the gameplay is solid, and the challenge feels about right. It's dirt cheap too, so it's easy to obtain a copy nowadays. Check it out, because honestly, I think it's really this fun. Final score? 9 out of 10. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.